I think that's why people think like, is this like a cult? Is this an MLM kind of thing?
And I just want to clarify, this is not an MLM. This is actually a real job. You don't have to wear a suit though. I mean, you can wear pajamas, no pants if you're really careful on the Zoom calls, but this is an actual professional career. Hi, I'm Anita Smith.
I'm Bradley Rice.
And you're listening to the Salesforce For Everyone podcast.
On our first episode ever, we look at how a career in Salesforce can kickstart your path to financial independence.
I was able to save 55-60% of my salary, and that is with taking full-blown vacations.
Also, find out how you can have that Salesforce career without a hefty college bill or tech experience.
There's a pattern here. Do these 5, 6, 7 things repeatedly. That's about 80% of the formula to landing a Salesforce job. Imagine a career path where you can work fully remote, you can make far above median income, you can travel the world, spend time with your family and doing things that you value outside of work. You are respected by your peers, and you can transition into this career path in less than 6 months using completely free resources online. My name's Bradley Rice, and I want to show you how, step by step, you can go from wherever you are today to being in a career just like this. And with me to guide you guys down this path is Anita Smith. Welcome to the show, Anita.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. And I just want to clarify, this is not an MLM. This is actually a real job. You don't have to wear a suit though. I mean, you can wear pajamas, no pants if you're really careful on the Zoom calls, but this is an actual professional career.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, number one. Yes, I think that's probably the number one question I get is, are these contract jobs? Do I get benefits? You know, do people give me my computer when I work from home and all this kind of stuff? And it's like, this is not a telemarketing. This is not a support agent for, you know, some big enterprise company. These are legitimate full-time W-2 positions, full benefits, everything you can imagine. And yes, your employer is going to send you a computer because you are one of the top talents at their company. So they're absolutely excited to give you whatever you need to make sure you can get the job done.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that it's such an honor to be here. I mean, especially since, Bradley, you're such like a veteran in the Salesforce ecosystem. You've been here over a decade, 12 years now. I can't believe I get to co-host with someone so much experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you were one of the first members of Talent Stacker. And I think one of the most important things to me, and when we were starting Talent Stacker, one of the most important things for the company was for it to be community first. And we wanted to make sure that this was more than just careers. This was more than just teaching people how to find jobs that would change their lives. So we wanted people to be part of something bigger than themselves. And to me, that was community. And you're such a massive part of our community. I know you've given back to so many people and changed so many lives yourself. And you've been in this ecosystem for just over a year and already had such a massive impact like that. It's truly unbelievable. So yeah, I wouldn't want anyone else on the show other than yourself.
Oh, thank you. I wouldn't even be here if I hadn't heard about your story. Your story is the one that really inspired me. I mean, not even coming from a tech background, you went to college, not even for IT, you went for, I believe, economics. And hearing your story where you made time for your family, where you're only working 20 hours a week and making $200K, that was unreal to me. And now that like I'm in it, I'm only a year in it, but I am not that far off along the path to get to where you are at.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're a year in, you're already deep into 6-figure income, you know, working, if I recall correctly, maybe some freelance gigs on the side. And I mean, it's really impressive, just all the flexibility that you've designed into your life so quickly. And to your point, I mean, you're right. I came out of college, had no idea what to do. I had student loan debt and no job and really had no direction and where to go. And I was really fortunate in my career to find some of these ends and find some of these pathways. So instead of, you know, moving forward with that and just having that really amazing career path you mentioned, you know, 20 hours a week, making over $200,000, which is absolutely unbelievable. It still is today. I wanted to turn back and figure out how can we help more people realize this in their lives. And I just saw so much opportunity. I saw so many people, you know, struggling at work. They didn't enjoy their day jobs. You know, they didn't want to get up on Monday morning, and they saw no path to higher income and, promotions at work and things like that. And I just thought there's so much opportunity. Why don't we turn around and help people get where we are? And that's what birthed Talent Stacker. And that's why we're sitting here on this podcast today, talking to people and trying to help them get to that point.
So we've been talking about Salesforce this whole time, and I was in a lot of the same shoes as you are listening to this right now. And I was like, yeah, I want to make that money. I want to work 20 hours a week, but what is Salesforce? I have no idea what it is. So Bradley, can you give us explain it like I'm 5 version definition of Salesforce?
I'll do my best. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 5 because I have a 5-year-old. And I think if I tried to explain this, it would be horrible and she'd probably end up running around the house. But I will try to explain it maybe closer to like a 10 or a 12-year-old. And we're going to see how I do. So the way I try to explain this is that if this sounds interesting to you, Salesforce might be a career path you're interested in. So if you like the idea of thinking about a company and thinking, that there's this big billboard. I'm driving down the interstate. I see this big billboard. Why is it there? Okay, it's trying to generate interest because that company wants me to buy their product. Well, from there, it's sort of like, okay, so that's a marketing department. And they've decided to put this billboard up in order to get leads into their system. And then they're going to try to work with those leads until they can convince them our product is something that you might want to purchase. And then the sales department's going to get involved and they're going to talk to that person and say, okay, we've got this product and this is how much it costs and we can get you a discount and all these things. And then you're going to purchase the product and then they're going to hand you off to the support department. And the support department's going to take care of you, make sure the product works the way it's supposed to, make sure you're a happy customer and you're going to be a customer for years to come. And what Salesforce is, what you're doing as a Salesforce professional is you are helping to streamline that process. And it sounds like magic. And as a Salesforce professional, you sort of are a magician because people don't know what it takes to do these things, to streamline the marketing process, the sales process, the support process. They don't know what it takes. And if you're listening right now, it might sound a little complex to you. You're probably thinking, wow, I don't know if I can do that. It sounds really complicated and I'm not a sales expert. I'm not a support expert and I'm not a marketing expert. I don't know if I can do those things. Well, good news. That is why we're here. We are here to educate you and get you up to speed and show you that truly anyone can be a Salesforce professional because it's not that hard and we're going to walk you through it. So I think that's my best explanation of trying to keep it simple. You basically run a business from start to finish and it's not as hard as you might think.
So basically, we're the magicians behind the curtain that helps the business run as efficient as possible.
Yeah, that's right. And if we do our jobs well, we cause a business to have, 5x, 10x revenue because we're allowing them to hire less employees because things are automated. We're allowing them to have better reporting so that they can make faster and more scalable business decisions so they can quickly pivot and go, customers aren't interested in that product. They're really interested in this other product. Or customers don't respond well to our billboards. They respond really well to our Facebook ads. And they can make those pivots quickly. And that's why Salesforce professionals get paid so much, because it's easy to go out and pay a Salesforce professional $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 because you're getting 10x, 20x, 30x that value by having them working for your company. And I think one of the most impressive things about Salesforce is how quickly you can transition from whatever you're doing today to being a Salesforce professional. And Anita, you did just that, just last year. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you went from, I'll let you tell it, where you were to being on this podcast.
Sure. Being where I'm at now, I'm just kind of kicking myself. One, why didn't I do this sooner? Well, because I didn't know about it sooner. But let's see, it was the beginning of 2020. I had finally made it to a revenue manager at a big hotel chain. Prior to that, I went to college for 4 years to get a degree in revenue management, which not everyone in hospitality needs a degree. You can do it the long way and work your way up, but it takes 5-10 years or something to actually climb the ladder. The degree helped. I was able to jump from starting to manager in about a year or so. But even with all that, I was making half of what my starting salary was in Salesforce. The value of a Salesforce certification, which it only costs $200 to get a certification to take the exam and pass it versus a 4-year degree is ridiculous. I mean, thank goodness I had like scholarships for college, but people are like paying crazy amounts of money, going into crazy amounts of debt to like graduate and like not even make enough money to pay off their student loan for years to come. With Salesforce, the investment is so low. Yes, it takes a little of elbow grease to study and get your certification, but the salaries you jump into, I mean, right now, people who are pivoting into a new Salesforce career, zero IT background, are making average like 72, 74,000. That's insane. That was way more I was making as a manager for like a big company.
You know, you mentioned 72 to 74,000 starting salaries. I think that's about right. And I think the even, sort of more ridiculous part is on average, it takes about 4 to 5 months to go from not knowing what Salesforce is to getting income like that. And then, within a year, I think the average salary we're seeing for 1 year of experience is about $90,000. And then 2 years is closer to about $110,000. And it keeps going up. I think it caps out now maybe around $170,000 for your typical run of the mill jobs. But of course, if you get into management or directing a team or something like that, it's 200 plus pretty easily. So yeah, when I look at people, other skilled professions where maybe you're a lawyer or you're a doctor or something like that, you go to school for 6, 8 years and then you come out and you maybe put in, whatever you call it for different groups, but some type of internship effectively. And you do that for a couple of years and then you finally recognize the income from all of that hard work. And you're 6, 8, 10 years into this already before you can get to that. And with Salesforce, you are where you are right now. If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I don't really know what Salesforce is, 4 months from now, you could quite literally be making $75,000. And 10 years from now, 6 years from now,
you could be retired.
I mean, truly, you could be retired 10 years from now if you get started on this today. It's absolutely incredible.
And by retired, I mean financial independence. And if you're not familiar with that term, go to choosefi.com/start and get yourself familiarized because this is life-changing advice here.
Yeah. When I think about the ultimate life hacks, it would be financial independence, closely followed by a Salesforce career. I mean, these are truly the ultimate life hacks because I know in my life and my family's life, when we pair those two concepts together, having a Salesforce career and focused on financial independence, lifestyle, and sort of the concepts there, we could have retired, before we even started Talent Stacker. Just through these Salesforce careers, you can design these lives. I mean, I was at, as you know, Anita, you were there, the Houston Talent Stacker meetup, having our community event. And people would ask, where are you from? You're from Florida, right? And it's like, I don't even know where I'm from anymore because we are always doing something new. It isn't this traditional lifestyle of living in the same spot for 20 or 30 or 40 years, working at the same company 20, 30, 40 years. And if you live that type of life, that's totally fine, to each their own. But I love having options. And so for us, it was, 2015 through 2017, we were in Florida. 2018, we lived in an RV. 2019, we lived in Georgia. Recently, we moved out to California. And now, as you know, we're closing on a house in Houston, Texas. So we're constantly doing whatever feels exciting at the moment, with the consistent being that we can have this Salesforce career and continue to make incredible income and work fully remote. And like we said, as long as you have a laptop and internet access, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So it just gives you so many options in life. And I think that's what I love as a lifestyle play with this, is being able to retire early, being able to have a lucrative career all at the same time. It really is a beautiful thing.
And to add into financial independence, so this past year has been insane. With this increase in salary, I was able to save 55-60% of my salary, which is insane. Like I would have never been able to do that in my old job. And that is with taking full-blown vacations. I took 3 trips last year. And I'm not like saying normal trips. They were like no internet trips. I don't know for any of you out there, but when I was in hospitality, I was never able to go fully on vacation. I was still kind of like answering emails, taking phone calls here and there. But like with Salesforce and with this kind of role and career, I was able to completely cut off. And it was the most amazing feeling.
Yeah. And I think historically, the conversation with these sort of finance conversations has been spend less money, invest the difference. And I think with Salesforce careers added into this formula, it becomes make more, save more, and invest the difference. You don't have to spend less anymore. If you want to spend less, you can. That's awesome. You can cut costs. You can try to, call your insurance provider once every 6 months and see if you can get 5% off. But with a Salesforce career, it sort of adjusts that formula to where you don't necessarily have to spend less because you're making so much more, and it changes the formula completely. And I that's what I really love about this.
Yeah, I'm not living off of ramen or anything. Even this year with the salary increase, I was like, okay, wow, I can save a lot. So I'm going to live my best life and treat myself to tasty menus, omakases, once a month, every month in the year. And I can afford it. And I can still save and reach FI at like pretty fast pace versus a normal job.
Yeah, I think for me, before this career path, I was really interested in at least being able to retire early. And I think I was on track for maybe about 16, 17 years, something like that. And then as we hit those moments of, wow, we're making $150,000, $200,000, and then making the choice to work part-time because, yeah, you could work more, make more. But it got to a point where it was like, I want to do other things in life that I value. And having that option, once again, just having so many options. And we went from that trajectory to being on track to retire in about 6 to 7 years and working part-time. I mean, did not think that was going to happen in my lifetime.
Yeah, that is such a unique situation. I mean, I have been grinding out this year. Not that I need to, but I have just because I've been doing that my entire life and it's hard to break it. But I'm slowly coming to the realization, okay, yeah, if I keep grinding like this, I could retire in 6 or 7 years, but then what? Like, why not just work part-time, enjoy my life? Because, tomorrow's never promised. So I can just live the life I want to live now, because honestly, I don't see myself just completely stop working once I retire or once I reach financial independence. I'm going to still want to do a little bit something. And why not just live that lifestyle now instead of waiting?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had a friend who asked me, what do you think we'll regret when we're retired and we're talking to our grandkids about what would you have done differently during this? And I would love to say oh, I've enjoyed every minute of it and I wouldn't regret a thing. But I would say it's probably being so concerned about what might happen and then having to save so much money and spend so much less and all these things just to prepare for the worst that's inevitably going to come and then it never comes. So I would say, living a little bit more. Maybe I need to listen to the younger millennials and Gen Zers for this YOLO. So I know we've talked some about how this concept of financial independence and a Salesforce career just seem to really go hand in hand. And I truly call them, sort of these ultimate life hacks. But another parallel between these two communities is the community. And it's that you have in Salesforce, it's referred to as the Ohana, and it has been for a long time. And this idea is that even though we might work at different companies and we might have different titles and we might live in different places, we're still part of this greater community of people helping each other. And what you'll find in the Salesforce community, just like in the financial independence community, is that you can go online into forums. You will find local groups. You will find people meeting up at breweries and hanging out and talking about their interests. And you will find people who want to help each other. They will get on a call with you for an hour to help you with something at work, to help you land your first job. Anything you need, they are right there in front of you constantly. And it's amazing. I mean, I would think you need to pay a monthly subscription to be part of these communities for the value you're getting. And that's how Anita and I met, was through these communities and being able to get to know each other before we sort of worked together at Talent Stacker. And before we were, co-hosting a podcast together, it was just helping each other grow as Salesforce professionals. And I mean, just like the Houston meetup we had last weekend, it really is amazing how you can get to know people and just give and get so much.
I mean, that was kind of insane to finally meet you in person, along with a lot of other people who I've kind of known for over a year now, but I've never met in person. But I mean, everyone is exactly how I pictured them, which was really nice. And you're right about the community. I would not be where I'm at today if the community wasn't what it was. Like, they really uplift you. Some of the other talent stackers and other people in the community have like really pulled me out of some tough spots when I was struggling how to figure out certain things. I come from a hospitality background, and I always thought that was the best community, but Salesforce for HANA blows hospitality community out of the water.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And I think that's why people think like, is this like a cult? Is this an MLM kind of thing? Because people are just so open to helping you. And it's almost like, do I want to get involved in that? Where did I sign that I'm somehow involved in this already? But once you sort of let your guard down a little bit, you realize it really is people that are just passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah, and we're just so passionate because we want to share this amazing lifestyle, this amazing career change with other people. And it does come off like, okay, I'm trying to sell you an MLM, but that's not the case. It's such a unique situation with a career in Salesforce compared to anything else. I can't contain my excitement because I love telling people about this crazy career where they can make life-changing money.
Yeah, and I think that's what started, when we first started I'll sort of call it our talent stacker community, we created this Facebook group called Salesforce For Everyone. And people would come on there and they would talk. I think we had about 100 members, 200 members within the first couple of months. And people would come ask questions. And it was awesome because I could get in there and I could help everyone one-on-one because we'd probably get 10 or 15 questions a week. I had plenty of time to go help give guidance. But slowly that group started growing. And I think out of those first 200 people, about 50 of those people landed jobs within the first 6 months. So what I did was I was really impressed. Like, I knew there was opportunity in the Salesforce ecosystem, but I didn't realize just how low the barrier was where you could break into this thing so quickly. So I started reaching out to these individuals and hopping on calls and going, what did you do? Like, how did this work for you? And they'd say, I just followed your advice. I just followed what you said. It was episode 117 of the Choose FI podcast was the first, major podcast I went on. And they were like, I just followed what you said to do on that podcast. And I was able to land a job. And so what I started doing was just documenting that pattern and going, there's a pattern here. If you do these 5, 6, 7 things repeatedly, that's about 80% of the formula to landing a Salesforce job. And so as that Salesforce for Everyone community group grew, it got to 2,000, 5,000, now 10,000 plus people. And I realized we have to scale this. I'm not going to be able to help everyone one-on-one. There's too many people to try and communicate with here. So we've got to find a way to make this scale. And that's really when Talent Stacker came to be. Talent Stacker was the answer to how can we help everyone become a Salesforce professional instead of just the people we can help one-on-one or in small groups.
Yeah, and it helped me. I just followed those simple steps. And as I was going through it, I was like, yeah, okay, this is easy. Is this really doing anything? And I would follow the next step and the next step and the next step. And eventually all those 1% increases really made a difference in the end. I mean, I landed a job within 4 months of actually getting into Salesforce, which is insane. I mean, 4 months and I doubled my salary. I'm still in shock.
Yeah, it really doesn't get much better. So maybe we should actually help the audience. I'm sure at this point they're thinking, this sounds great. You guys have said all these amazing things. I want to make incredible money. I want to, travel the world and have all these options. And I want to dive into financial independence and actually see a path forward to maybe retiring early, or if not, just having the opportunity to retire early if I want to. And we should probably talk to them about how this podcast is going to take them from wherever they are today to realizing the lifestyle that we've been describing. So what do you think we should talk about in the following episodes to get people from listening to this and getting excited about Salesforce to actually making this a reality?
Yeah, definitely some of the steps from the program, like building your LinkedIn profile, building your network, working on your interviewing skills, because a lot of us came from different industries and we have no idea how to do technical interviews.
Yeah, I think probably certifications, sort of helping explain, demystify these certifications and, like you said, personal branding and interview prep, and how do you even look for a job when it comes to the Salesforce world, that's what we're going to lay down for everyone. So if you're listening to this and you are just excited about a Salesforce career and you're wondering, can I really do this? Can I go from where I am today to becoming a Salesforce professional and realize all of this amazing opportunity that Bradley and Anita are talking about? The short answer is yes. But to get you there, we're going to give you a few different options. So if you're ready to just dive in on this right now today, head to talentstacker.com/start, and you're going to find all of our free resources. We have a 5-day challenge that'll walk you through everything you need to know to get started. We have LinkedIn, personal branding guides that'll show you how to get started with personal branding on LinkedIn. We'll tell you all about what Talent Stacker is and how it works and why it works so well. And then, of course, make sure you take a moment to subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you're on, and we will keep coming back to you, feeding you the most meaningful information on how you can continue to progress and continue to stay accountable to realizing a Salesforce career.
Wow. Thank you so much, Bradley, for bringing me on as your co-host. I had a lot of fun. This is such a cool experience. So all of you, come listen to the next episode where we dig in a little deeper onto why there's so many job openings in the Salesforce ecosystem in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally talking about millions. I think actually 3 million plus jobs being created in the Salesforce ecosystem here in just the next couple of years. So when we say you really just need to be 1 in a million, we're still being conservative. You need to be like 1 in 3 million. So it just goes to show, why are so many companies using a tool like Salesforce? And that's what we're going to talk about in the next episode. It is truly groundbreaking technology for these companies. And it allows them to just, as we mentioned, 5, 10, 20x their revenue, which completely changes the game for these companies. And that's why there is such a need for Salesforce professionals to go in there and be those magicians and make Salesforce work well for these companies. So that's your job. That's what we're going to help you achieve as a Salesforce career by doing that. So make sure to join us next week as we dive into the Salesforce ecosystem. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us today. To get started for free on your own Salesforce career, go to talentstacker.com/start or check the show notes. There you'll find all the resources you need to start earning $60,000 to $80,000 in as little as 8 months, no matter your education or career background. The Salesforce For Everyone podcast was produced by Edmund T. and engineered by Andrew Mendonza. If you like what we do at this scrappy can-do podcast, please help others find us by leaving a 5-star rating and a great review on whichever platform you're listening to us right now. See you next time.